What's going on, everyone? So Chris Paul and the Los Angeles Clippers, their time appears to be coming to an end. Right? Chris Paul was sent home. He clearly wasn't happy about it as he took it to social media. And then top of that, Clippers are trying to play nice of like, hey, he's not the scapegoat. He's not the bad guy. We promise, right? But there's all these reports coming out that, he was having issues with the management, holding people accountable, right? His leadership is how it's being touted. His leadership style wasn't meshing well with the Clippers, right? And Ty Lue and him weren't getting along, and it's a mess regardless. His time is done regardless. But then now it begs the question of where does Chris Paul go? What does he do from here? Honestly, I think he should just retire. I mean, he wasn't very good this year, and he has this trend now, right, with coaches and organizations and stuff. And when he was in his prime, it's like, dude, the guy's one of the greatest point guards ever. It's you kind of put up with a lot. You kind of deal with a lot. You're willing to listen to a lot. But now at this stage, it's like, do you really want Chris Paul telling you how you should coach and how you should run your organization, how you should do all this stuff? It's like, dude, sit down, get your paycheck, play your little spot minutes. Your career's done, right? It's a wrap, right? And he's already announced his retirement. I just think at this point, probably best for him to just call it quits. But I don't think he's going to want to do that. I think he's going to want to finish this season. And it's hard because it's like, one, how many teams need him, right? He's going to want to win. I don't think the Clippers were the best place for him regardless. Right? I think, honestly, he should have stayed with the Spurs as just a veteran and mentor and an extension of the coach. He should have been a guy that, sat there because I thought he was really good for the Spurs. The Spurs, benefited a lot from them. Just thought he was, just a solid pickup for them, regardless. Now, obviously, you have a ton of guards, so it's like, where do you play him? But if he was willing to kind of buy into that, but I get it. He wants to play, want to do all that stuff. Again, I don't think the Clippers were the place to go. Problem is, it's like, again, where does he go? Right? It depends on where and what he's willing to accept. Right? If he's willing to accept kind of a mentor role and a vet role, just that guy off the bench, kind of play spots where you need him type thing, go to OKC. Him and SGA have an incredible relationship. They still work out together in the offseason and stuff like that. I really think he just goes to OKC, or back to OKC, right? Just play the veteran role, hang out there. Right, I think it's your best shot to win a championship. SGA, I think, would sign off on it. Right, so I think you're not going to play a ton, but when you do, but you will get spot minutes. You will get to play here and there. You might be able to get a ring before you end up retiring. I'm sure he's going to want if he wins a ring, if I'm going to win a ring, I want to be a part, actual factor in it. But it's okay, where do you go? Minnesota could really use a point guard, but that just kind of feels like Mike Conley 2.0, right? That's what that kind of feels like to me. So maybe Minnesota though, because they again just could use a point guard, use some play, his playmaking. I think could be beneficial, and they do have the athleticism and the youth and stuff like that to put around. But how does that go? Denver maybe, right? You could. It's just again, it's hard to find a place for him. The Rockets, go back to the Rockets. They could kind of use some playmaking, right? Use a guy to kind of put things together. And that, you have the size, the length, the defense, the athleticism, the versatility. You have all the things that you need to put Chris Paul in the best position, right? He needs to go to teams like that. There's a lot of teams I think you can make. There's probably 10 teams you can make an argument for, right? The Lakers, he's been linked to the Lakers since, the Kobe veto, since the vetoed trade that would have paired him with Kobe. Pre-Luka, I actually thought there was some sense to it, right? Over on the Lakers channel and stuff like that, I talked about how, I think Chris Paul makes a lot of sense as a secondary playmaker, right? That was before Austin Reeves was the Austin Reeves he's been this season. Also, it's just, you didn't have Luka, so it was it'd be nice to have that secondary playmaker guy, so when LeBron goes to the bench, you don't just fall off a cliff like you have been. And then Chris Paul and Anthony Davis can play off each other in that two-man game, stuff like that. I did think that there was some sense for that, a couple years ago, as recent as even, not this offseason, but the previous offseason, when he went and signed with the Spurs. But now, I don't think it makes any sense. right? Because you got Chris Paul, Luka, Austin Reeves. You don't need another playmaker. You don't need another ball handler. Like, he can play. He's been better off ball, but is best with the ball in his hands, making decisions and making plays. I also, like, maybe if you were to pull off some type of a trade and, if the Lakers were to trade Austin Reeves or something like that, or, but even then, like, is that really what you want? Like, is he going to respect JJ to the level that you need him to respect? Right? Like, does he kind of mess up? Like, that's the problem now, is like, he has this issue of like locker room issues, and could he kill the chemistry? And, so if you're a veteran, if you're a team that's trying to win a championship, you're a veteran team. Like a young team, you need it, right? You need his attitude. You need him holding people accountable. You need all that stuff, right? But like, him going to a team, like the Clippers was the worst place, because again, it's like Kawhi Leonard's like, dude, what are you going to tell me, right? Like James Harden's like, dude, what are you going to tell me, right? Like, it's just, it's a weird spot for Chris Paul to be in, and I just don't think it was the best decision. But I don't know where I think it just, what does Chris Paul want? If Chris Paul wants to play a ton in his last season, then go to one of these terrible teams and go play, or go to like maybe see if Minnesota will play you, right? Like maybe Minnesota will bring you in on a flyer, and have you be a star. Like, Minnesota could probably use you, right? Maybe you get something like that. Otherwise, buy into the veteran role, buy into the leader off the bench, right? And then you'll play that part. I mean, if he's willing to do that for a team like the Lakers, then that I wouldn't hate. If he's okay with like, hey, I don't want to play. I don't want to leave LA. I want to stay in LA, stay with the Lakers. I'll just be your 15th guy. When you need me, I'm here. You don't need me, fine, whatever, right? Like, I think he could also be good for guys like Austin Reeves, Bronny James, like guys like that, to like kind of help, elevate that team. I mean, look at what he did for SGA. I mean, SGA credits him for turning him into the player that he is today, right? So again, I do think Chris Paul would be good as like a mentor and a development guy and stuff like that. Chris Menon, I do think that there's some arguments in that regard, but like, personally, I think the Lakers should stay as far away from him as possible. I think you go to OKC, ride the bench on OKC, let them carry you to a chip, or try to, like I said, Minnesota, probably the best option, because they could really use a playmaker, or Houston, like one of those teams that like gives you a chance to win a championship, but actually really needs a real playmaker in the midst. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass a question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. What do you think? How do you feel with your thoughts? I'd love to hear it out of the way, so let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Else not, it's me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.